Hola, soy yo, Vicky, otra vez. Or hello, it's me, Vicky, again. So I thought, so it's Friday and I'm trying to do a live every Friday. What I'm finding difficult is to find a certain time to do it. So I'm sorry, it might be a bit sort of ad hoc. I've just found myself with an hour free. I've been out interpreting this morning and then later I'm going out to lunch because it's Friday. So I thought I'd come on for an hour. He pensado que salgo aquí una hora or algo para ver si hay alguna pregunta, to see if anyone's got any questions about Spanish and English. But I know that I might be spending this hour on my own because there's I didn't give any warning again of the live, but you'll be able to catch up on it later. Pues da igual, si no viene nadie para, puedes ver esto luego, ¿no? So, una cosa muy chocante, una cosa muy grave que está pasando ahora mismo en España. There's one thing, a very serious thing that's happening at the moment in Spain, though hopefully it's under control now, that there's been this terrible, terrible fire in Valencia. So let's have a look at that. So look at this. This is an apartment block in Valencia that went up in flames. Look at the whole building. I mean, it's quite strange to think how this has how could this have happened? Was it some sort of a bomb? Was it a gas canister going off? I don't think we know yet what the actual cause is. But anyway, let's have a look at the video. Advert. Yeah, so it seems it's actually 2 residential buildings in the centre of Valencia, which is the capital city of the Comunidad Valenciana. Just unbelievable. I just can't imagine how this has happened. So I believe 4 people have died, and there'll be a lot of people in hospital with smoke inhalation, etc. But I'm a little bit speechless, to be honest, as to how a fire that big, could have taken hold. So at least 4 people have died after this large fire engulfed 2 residential buildings in Valencia in eastern Spain, with people seen trapped on balconies waiting to be rescued. How awful for those people. And officials say 19 other people are missing, and at least 13 people, including 6 firefighters, have suffered burns, fractures and smoke inhalation. So this looks like they've got the blaze under control, but just look, it reminds me of Grenfell, the tower fire in London. Just awful. I mean, has that ever happened in Spain before? You feel like, has it been started deliberately? How could a fire be that big? Anyway, Valencia's Assistant Emergency Services Director, Jorge Suarez, told reporters that hours after the blaze started, Firefighters were still trying to cool down the outside of the building before attempting to go inside. The blaze started early on Thursday evening and spread from a block of flats to a smaller building next door, said Spanish news agency EFE. Gosh. And now it said, oh, look, that's a person there. How terrifying. How terrifying. Just there waiting to be rescued. Too high up to jump. You know, what can you do? God, I mean, I think I'm just speechless. It takes a lot to make me speechless, but that's making me speechless. You just cannot. That's massive, isn't it? It's affected so many homes, people's homes. Gosh. There are 2 people being rescued there. How terrifying. I hope the animals, did they have pets in there? Were the children in there? I hope everybody, let's have a look at this video. Wow. Unbelievable. I always feel in Spain, you know, obviously they have fires, otherwise they wouldn't have but, you know, I always feel like they're probably less often and less, less dangerous, just because of the fact there's no carpets and things. You know, in Spain, it's not all carpeted, it's tiles. But that just looks like, you think, how could it have spread like that? And it seems to have spread very quickly. Makes you wonder if it's some sort of, well, if it's been set deliberately, or it was some sort of bomb, or maybe a gas canister going off, or something, faulty electrics. But just seems strange to me how it spread so quickly. God. Now, it looks quite windy. It has been quite windy, actually. The smoke's blowing. I suppose the wind will have made it worse. So thick black smoke poured from the buildings, and some residents had to be rescued from their balconies with the flames perilously close. And Spain's weather agency said there were 40 miles an hour winds at the time, which I just said that, yeah. It's been really windy overnight, so that must have made it worse, and it says it's unclear how the blaze started. So I just wanted to tell you about that to start with, before we start looking at some Spanish. If nobody comes on to ask me, if you've got any questions about English or Spanish, please ask. But if not, if nobody comes on, I'm going to show one of my videos that will be interesting for anyone who speaks Spanish, who wants to learn Spanish or English. So the video we're going to look at is 14 Spanish words to describe people. So if you're not learning Spanish, if you're learning English, the English words will be useful to you as well. So we're going to look at 14 different Spanish words. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Well, let's go back to the beginning. Oh, Vicky, otra vez. Hi, it's me, Vicky, again. Y en el video de hoy voy a hablar de diferentes palabras para describir personas. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about different words in Spanish that we can use to describe people, the type of people they are. So not whether they're tall, short, etc., but what sort of person they are. Some are positive, some are negative. So let's see. So number one, the first one we could use to describe somebody is un or una pesado or pesada. This is someone, this really, I suppose, in English would translate to a pain. If someone's un pesado, they're like, oh my God, what a pain. And bear in mind that well, certainly in Spain, in my area of Spain, instead of pesado, which they should pronounce it, they do tend to say pesado. So if they say es un pesado, he's a pain, or es una pesada, she's a pain. So un or una pesado or pesada is a pain in the ass, basically. A bit more positive, number 2. Número 2, mucho más positivo. Un o una fiestero or fiestera. And this is a person who likes partying. So more or less it's a party animal that you translate to in English. So how about you? Are you un fiestero or una fiestera? Let me know what kind of person you are. I think I'm half a fiestera. Me gustan las fiestas. I like parties, pero a veces me gusta estar tranquila en la casa. But sometimes I like to be just, quiet in the house. Un poco de todo. This is not really positive or negative, just the way somebody is. I'm a bit of this, I think. Un or una, again, friolero or friolera. I'm definitely one of these. I always feel the cold. I'm definitely una friolera. Sí, seguro soy friolera. So this is someone who's susceptible to the cold, someone who really feels the cold. If, like me, you do really feel cold, if I'm not a regular temperature of 22 degrees, it's like I'm miserable. I don't like being too hot and I don't like being too cold. So as far as the cold side of it's concerned, I'm una friolera. I feel the cold and I don't like it. How about you? This is not me, actually, this next one. Un or una goloso or golosa is someone who has a very sweet tooth, Yeah, I don't really have a sweet tooth. I like sweet things, but not particularly, and I don't like sugar, really, at all. You would say in English. So someone who likes sweet things a lot. So although I like chocolates, all right, but for me it's not like I'm just not sweet. I prefer a starter, for example. If I'm in a restaurant or whatever, I'd rather have a starter and skip the sweet. Some people read the menu from the sweet backwards, decide what they're going to have for a main course depending on what they've decided they're going to have for a postre or a pudding. So what about you? Are you un goloso or una golosa? Now, this one is definitely me. Número 5. I am definitely una madrugadora. Madrugadora. Well, it's a bit of a mouthful, that one. Basically, this in English, I suppose we would say an early bird. I like to get up early. This is definitely me. Definitely madrugadora. Because if I don't get things done in the morning, they tend not to get done. I like the early mornings. The energy is good, clear. I can think straight, get a couple of coffees down me, and that's when I do my most productive work of the day, probably first thing in the morning. Early in the morning. La madrugada. How about you? Let me know. Yeah, don't forget, please let me know in comments which of these that you think applies to you. Of the morning. So I am definitely una madrugadora. I like to get up at 6 o'clock. Me levanto a las 6 casi todos los días. I like to think I'm not this person, but I think we're all a little bit of a fisgon or fisgona. We're all a little bit nosy about some things, yeah? So how about you? Are you un fisgon or una fisgona? You like to know everybody's business? I don't think I'm a grande fisgona, but we all like to know. We're all a little bit nosy, I suppose. Yeah, I'm probably, to be honest, the least nosy person, except with... I do my true crime channel, and I like to know what's going on behind the scenes in crime cases and things like that. But as far as really people are concerned, neighbours, etc. I'm not nosy because, you know, just each to their own, isn't it? Let people get on with their lives.
And we're also all a little bit silly, which to describe someone as a silly person. And bear in mind, this is not so rude as like calling someone an idiot, idiota, or algo así. This tonto is quite sort of affectionate, really. Un tonto or una tonta is just a silly person.
Yeah, it's not a terrible insult to call someone tonto or tonta. I'm definitely a little bit tonta. Sí, seguro que soy un poco tonta, sí.
Bit stronger than that is the next one. This is an insult if you call somebody this. It is an idiot, basically. So try not to say this unless you really mean it. But un capullo or una capulla is
yeah, this is an insult. I mean, actually, as I'm watching this, I'm thinking I don't know if I should have put this on a video. But anyway, you need to know these things. If you're living in Spain and you're learning Spanish or CV, you know, you need to know that capullo, somebody calls you a capullo, it's not a term of endearment.
an idiot, a total idiot. Like not just a little bit silly, but a total out and out idiot that
A
you might want
complete
to say to
twonk.
somebody at some point in time. This is definitely me. Numero 9. I'm una, of course, animalero or animalera. So I am definitely somebody who likes animals. You may have noticed, like with the friolero and the friolera, etc. Quite often you can just put the lero or lera on the end of a word. Like fiestero, etc. And that makes it somebody who likes those things. So you take the noun, you put on the ero or era, and that turns it into a person who likes those things, whatever they are, be it animals or parties
Is it an
or
animal?
whatever, or it refers to those things. So you may notice that ending, ero or era, on the end of quite a lot of words. And it might help you to work out what they mean. Number 10. I don't think I am this maybe once. You know, I talk a lot in my work, you know, being a teacher, I have to talk a lot. So sometimes outside of work, I don't really like talking. It's only because I get tired. But yeah, I do like talking, don't get me wrong. But sometimes straight after work, I need a little bit of a rest. So un or una hablador or habladora is a chatterbox, really, somebody who talks a lot. I like this one. So this is the opposite of a fiestero or a fiestera. This is un or una aguafiestas. What I love about Spanish sometimes is it's just so straightforward. The words are so straightforward. So you've got aguafiestas, water parties. So in other words, party pooper. You know, somebody who, we all know that person who, you know, everything's going well, the party's great, everybody's having fun, and then somebody makes it serious or whatever. That's an aguafiesta.
Yeah, party pooper. So for those of you, para los que aprenden inglés, un aguafiestas or una aguafiestas in inglés is party pooper. I don't know. I like both of them. I like party pooper and aguafiestas. Me gustan los dos.
Yes, that's a party pooper, or literally a water party. Water parties. So I do really like that expression, even though I don't like to meet those kind of people. Oh gosh. I've actually forgotten what this means. So I'm going to have to look. It's a word that I remember when I looked up, I thought, oh, I've never seen that word before. Now I can't remember what it means. So number 13, we'll go to number 13. We'll skip number 12 for now. And number 13 is un or una grosera. So this is someone who's very rude. You know, someone who's rude. If you're un grosero, you're a rude person, or una grosera, also a rude person. And numero 14, number 14, un o una capriccioso or capricciosa. This is someone who does things on a whim, spontaneous. Yo soy capricciosa, me gusta. I like to be spontaneous. I'm not always. I like routine as you know, I like both. I like my routine, but sometimes I just like to do something totally spontaneous. Capriccioso or capricciosa. Now then,
Yeah, of course, it is possible to be, you know, you don't have to be like that every day. But I do like to do things on the spur of the moment every now and again. Capricciosa. ¿Y tú eres caprichoso or caprichosa?
do you know what number 12 means? Because I've forgotten what it means and I'm having to look it up as we speak. So one thing you do know is my videos, they're always live in the sense I don't edit my videos. What you see is what you get with me. And, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it isn't. No, sorry. So, Gandulo.
It's true. You know, what you see is what you get. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But it's always sincere and from the heart.
Gandulo, Gandula. I remember looking it up. I remember thinking of the English word first and thinking, oh, I'm going to look that up and see what that means, how you say it in Spanish, and I'm going to put it into the video. And then I remember finding it and then thinking, oh gosh, I've
Just excuse my waffle while I work out what this word is.
never ever heard that expression before. So it's saying here it's a hooligan.
It's not a hooligan. Or that might be another meaning for it. But I'll save you the pain of waiting. It's a skiver. A skiver. That's what I'd forgotten. Let me fast forward.
Ah, a skiver.
Ah.
Now I remember a gandulo. Would it be gandulo? No, gandul. There's no O on it for a masculine, or gandula for a woman is a skiver. Somebody who does not like work. Now that's obviously why I couldn't remember what it meant, because I am not a gandula. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. You know what? I'm going to have to think of a way of using it now so that I remember it. It's very unusual for me to forget a word because...
Yeah, and a gandul or gandula. Maybe it's South American. I don't know. I don't think I've really heard it said much. But as I say, I definitely am not a shirker. Out of all the negative, you know, I'm not perfect by any means. But one thing I'm not is a gandula. I do like working, but yeah, I don't think I've ever said that word.
Although, don't believe me, I haven't got a good memory. A lot of people say, well, you must have a good memory because you remember all these words. I don't have a good memory for a lot of things, but I just always have had a good memory for Spanish. I don't know why. It's very, you know, once I hear a word once, that's normally it. I never have to, you know, I remember it instantly. I've always been more of a word person. Numbers, I'm completely different. You give me your phone number now, I would forget it within a second. But words I tend to remember, so that's unusual for me. I think because it's one that I'd never heard before, and also of course it's nothing like the word skiver, so there's no clues there. Gandul or gandula bear no resemblance, do they? Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up, because that really helps me if you give me a thumbs up. If you're the first, if this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, so sorry about forgetting the meaning of the word. I don't normally do that. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope if you haven't subscribed already, maybe you'll consider subscribing, because that also helps me out, but it is completely free.
Okay, so that's more or less the end of the video. So yeah, so there you go. There's some words to learn that describe people in Spanish. And I just want to send out thoughts to all the family and their friends of anyone who was affected by this awful fire in Valencia. Just terrible, terrible. Do you know what? You just never know the minute you get up in the morning. So, and that was what I was thinking this morning when I got up. I thought, God, those people yesterday morning when they got up, they were just living their lives normally in their houses, in that apartment block. And then now, even, you know, if they're lucky, they've got away with their lives. Unfortunately, many people, well, at least 4 people have died, and they're probably, I would imagine, find more people as time goes on. And then the other people, the people that have survived, they've got nowhere to live. I mean, where do they go? Do their insurance company put them up somewhere? Does the government put them up somewhere? You know, where did they lay their heads last night? And, you know, oh gosh, I hope, you know, you worry about if there were animals in there that had to be left. Oh, it's just awful, awful. And thank God for the firefighters who do that job, who put their lives at risk to keep us safe or to save us. So yeah, you just have to appreciate even just getting up in the morning, making your coffee, you know, washing the pots from the night before, or having a little tight. These things, not everybody, we take these things for granted, but not everybody has those things, do they? For whatever reason, there's all sorts of different reasons why they might not have them. But anyway, so yeah, thank you. I see a few of you have popped in and out during the video. I hope you found the Spanish words useful. And I will try and give a bit more notice next time. I'm off for lunch later. Voy a comer en un restaurante chino. Hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend. So, buen fin de semana a todos. I hope you all have a good weekend. And until I see you again en el próximo video, que tu Dios vaya siempre contigo. May your God always go with you. Adios. Bye. Hasta luego.